just short track racing. What does short track racing mean to you in your racing career?
It's obviously where I've come from since I was 12 years, actually since I've been a little kid, but 12 years old, 13 years old, really, I've been running modified. So started on a quarter mile up at Evergreen. It's called Mountain Speedway now, in a modified, and just kind of been growing ever since and getting in different cars and going to bigger tracks. So I love it. You're aggressive, and there's definitely some personalities in there.
How does Richmond compare to other short tracks that you've been on?
It's really different, actually, to be honest with you. I don't think there's any short track that has such a long front straightaway like this place does. It totally different characteristics, 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4. I've only been here once with that K&N car. I liked it with those cars because you could really, the track widened out for it. Not quite sure how that's going to be in these, but it's a racetrack, and I'm looking forward to it.
So you did run that K&N race here last year, I believe. So how does that help you? You got that some on-track experience in a stock car. How does that help you?
It helps a lot. You've been to a racetrack that you've been to before, and I think you'll see that when you go to Loudon. But you just kind of understand the characteristics of the racetrack, and also just different points that you need to really understand in order to get the car turned, forward drive, and in a race, first practice, a car may feel good in practice for a 5-6 lap run, but in the race, what's it going to do, especially off here at turn 4? A lot of people lose grip, and you start sliding towards the wall, so that's going to be a key.
Yeah. Have you found any surprises so far this season? It's your first full season. You're going to the track every week in this JD Motorsports car. Have you found any surprises or something that's stood out to you so far?
Just really the 1.5 miles are a little bit. I like them, just a little different, and you would think that characteristically 1.5 miles, 1.5 miles, they all drive the same, and they really don't. So the one thing I've kind of noticed that I've been playing with a little bit is moving up as the run gets, as the run goes on, you can move around a lot more. But I've just been kind of moving around with that. Really haven't gotten into much, but still just trying to understand the cars, understand the reasons why it's doing something, which I think, with time, understanding those things is going to help us.
So how much different is an Xfinity car from a modified car? Just, pick out the differences.
A race car is a race car. They all turn. A lot of people have a misinterpretation that because they have 15 inches of rubber that they're gonna turn on a dime, when they really don't. Characteristically, a modified gets a lot looser as a race run goes on, but you can drive through it where it seems the way Xfinity cars are set up for maximum grip. As a run goes on, you really can't be free. It just unloads one of the corners, and you just can't drive through it. So, just totally different driving style, and the way they're set up, it's just a little bit different to understand.
Right. You made a few Cup starts last year, so that's a high level of competition. So, how does that experience help you when it comes down to the Xfinity Series, having that big of competition up there?
I would say there's 30 cars that can win there each and every week, and then you had the other 11. Or 11 or 13 that were there and didn't quite have the budgets or whatever it took to get to that level. But I feel like you got about 18 Cup affiliated teams on this side of the garage, and then you have everybody else, and so we're battling. Right now, hopefully we'll be battling from that 20th to 15th range, and then as the season goes on, we'll be a 15th to 10th place range. We're working on it, so it's just totally different, and just the level of competition is a little bit different here, but I feel like Johnny Davis has given us everything we're working on, and progressively getting better and better.
Do you have any Cup plans for the near future? Tommy Baldwin Racing, teams like that. Have you been looking at stuff like that, or are you just focused on?
I think Tommy's given me all the support, and I talked with him. I was just over there earlier. Not yet, not at all. Just working on getting the car, getting seat time in these Xfinity cars. That's what I really need. Getting in that Cup car was awesome last year, and giving me seat time and kind of getting me into this. But this is where I need to be right now. I need to be understanding these cars, understanding how they work and everything before you can even think about getting in one of those Cup cars and relatively trying to be competitive. It's just a different. I don't want to jump into a Cup car right now at all, even if It's just you need the right situation, you need to understand it, and that's what I'm working on right now.
Do you think you got into it a little too early having that last year? Or are you happy that you got that experience?
Oh no, I'm happy I got that experience because I was there. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody put a predetermined judgment on me. We understood what we were there and what we were doing. I definitely didn't think I was going to go out and light the world on fire. It was more just getting seat time, understanding the cars, and it kind of helped get me towards this year. And the approval process, that's another huge thing. It got me approved for I can race. I'm pretty sure I can race anywhere and anything, at the NASCAR level. So that was another big reason. And just experience, seat time. It's huge, and I want to understand how these cars are set up and understand the different things about them.
So how's Johnny Davis? How is he working with you, and how do you enjoy being with him?
I like him a lot. He's an honest guy. It's hard to find honest people, in racing nowadays, and it's great to be with him. We're working on the program, obviously. We definitely don't have the funding that a team like Joe Gibbs or RCR or any of them have. So do we have the least motors? Do we have the newest cars? No, we don't. But I feel like we definitely have a team that's working very hard. We use every resource we can, and we get to the racetracks, and we are, I feel like we are running where we've expected to be running. Obviously, Ross has done really well with qualifying, and I'm kind of learning what I need in these cars to have that speed. So I feel like as the year goes on, we'll have that, and then hopefully we can start showing that.
What do you think separates JD Motorsports from other, maybe smaller teams? What do you think separates you guys from the rest of the pack?
I would say Johnny's definitely been around for quite a while. He's been racing for a while, so he's built up some knowledge, and they understand what they're doing with these cars. So we're kind of getting into the whole shaft spring deal that they allowed this year, so we're learning about it. At first, I believe Ross is running the pigtail stuff still, which is they've mastered that whole deal. So, I feel like once I understand this and understand how to get the maximum amount of grip for the feel that I want with what we got, we're going to be running a lot better too. So, we maximize everything we can with what we got. So I'm very happy with that.
So moving to Ross Chastain, he's been in this for a couple of years. He had 4 top 10s last year. So what have you learned most from him this season?
Just talking with him little by little, leaning on him. I more or less learn when I'm behind him, seeing the different things his car's doing for what he wants versus what I've got. So it helps me give better feedback to Zach, my crew chief, about what we need to do to make our car better. And I've really been leaning on a lot of people. Ryan Newman, Landon. I had a lengthy conversation with him today because he drove for these guys last year, and just about how these cars and the way they're loading on certain things, and just things that I've never really worried about in a modified. It's like he said, it's the same, but in my mind it's kind of not. So I just got to learn that, and obviously Regan Smith from Tommy's, he's very available to me. I can talk to him, and he helps me whenever he can. So it's I got a lot of people helping me. It's just gonna come with time.
So when it comes to your crew chief, Zach McGowan, he's been with you, for a while. He seems to be moving you around. So what's it like having that consistent face, leading your team? Is that a big help?
I think we're learning together.
Yeah.
He's very educated and knowledgeable, and I would say I'm learning the different things and playing catch up. It's you can only do so much if your driver isn't very knowledgeable yet. You can tell him what it's doing, and then it's hard for a crew chief. You know what I mean? The driver's the one feeling these things, so I can lead him down a path that's not right, or I can lead him down a path that is right. So, trying to understand this stuff so I can help us both.
Do you like a loose or a tight race car?
I like a loose car. Typically in the past, I think my version of loose is totally different from other people's version of loose. In these cars, loose isn't what I'm used to. So right now we've definitely kept it on the tighter side, but I'm trying to find that balance to get back to that. Hey, I want to roll the center. Be picking up the throttle a lot. That's definitely the thing. In a modified, I would say I was turning right more than I was turning left. But in these cars, if you're turning right, it's definitely not a good thing.
Yeah. So Tony Stewart's back this weekend, his first. Have you ever spoken to him? Are you excited to have him back here? Are you going to speak to him this weekend?
I've never spoken with him.
Yeah.
I've definitely been a fan of his for a long time. I have 2 of his midgets, one USAC midget diecast car at my house, and a World of Outlaws. So, he's always been an inspiration to me, and that's pretty cool to see him back here. But I don't know, when I see guys like him and Kevin Harvick and guys like that, people I've always looked up on at TV, so even when I see them around, even junior, it's like I kind of get starstruck. I'm kind of shy, so I don't really go up to them. But yeah, I've definitely looked up to guys like that, even Casey Kane, a lot of USAC guys that I've looked, Ryan Newman, obviously. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate your time.
No problem.
Great answers. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.